There are 30 courses in Mario Kart World, and they're full of secret shortcuts and hidden routes. In today's video, I'm going to show you the best shortcut on every track in the game. Keep in mind that Mario Kart World is still very new, and there's definitely more to be discovered. So let me know if I missed any major ones in the comments. With that being said, let's jump right into it. We'll start with one of my favorite courses, Whistle Stop Summit. Coming from the tunnel, you can jump from the train track rail to the pipe on the right. You'll want to trick off the end of it and drift to the right to land on the pipe below. You can then wall ride on the billboard and grind on the train tracks to build up speed. Learning this trick will allow you to skip a few bends in the road, but it is a little bit risky since you could fall off the edge of the track. If you're having trouble landing on the lower pipe, remember that doing tricks in the air while holding a direction will increase your aerial movement. Next up, we have Great Question Block Ruins. Right from the start, if you have a mushroom, you can start a drift to the right and cut across this grass area. Release your drift and trick off of the secret jump. Then you can land directly on the inside rail of this bend. This trick is super fast and it will save you a ton of time. Plus, I have a bonus shortcut for you on this course that doesn't require any items at all. For this one, you'll want to build up as much speed as you can and hold R to start charging up a jump. You'll want to release it at the cones and aim for the left edge of the giant ring. Trick to the left to start a wall ride and then jump back to the right at the end of the wall. This one will take a bit of practice, but it's definitely satisfying when you finally pull it off. Crown City has a bunch of objects that you can trick off of, and we can use that to our advantage. Start charging a jump and jump onto the road barrier. By tricking off of it, we can bounce off of multiple poles and trick to the left to cut the corner. This was on the road by the ocean, but there's actually quite a few places we can do this in Crown City. For example, near the end of the race, you can do some crazy shenanigans around this corner. I pulled this off once out of dumb luck and have never been able to replicate it again. But maybe you can. On the early section of Rainbow Road, you'll come to your first fork in the path. Choose the path to the right. You can drift around the corners to build up some speed, and once you get to the top, charge up a jump and release it on the very edge of the track. If done correctly, you can jump the gap and skip a portion of the track. Next, we have Mario Circuit. I could tell you about the gap in the blocks that you can boost through, but everybody already knows about that. Instead, there's a trick I want to show you that will allow you to skip multiple off-road portions of Mario Circuit. When you get to this jump, trick to the right in the air to land on top of these blocks. You can trick off the end of them for a boost through this pit stop. This next part is a lot harder than it looks, but basically you want to start charging a jump and aim for this blue block. By jumping to the left, you can barely gain enough height to get on top of them. This might be difficult to do with anyone but a lightweight character. You really don't want to release your jump until you're fully in the sand in order to get the distance that you need. Next, we have Desert Hills. After drifting around the bend towards the finish line, start charging a jump and hug the right side of the road. Jump to the right to start a wall ride and then jump back onto the track at the end of the wall. This skips a big curve of the road and gives you a boost. You may have noticed there's a rail above the wall we could get on, but this is generally slower unless you're trying to collect the coins. On Dino Dino Jungle, you can ride up the spine of this dinosaur to do some tricks. Trick halfway up its neck to land on the left rail, and then trick off of it to land on the right rail. If you have a mushroom, you can also boost through this grass section. A little tricky, but well worth it. A much easier shortcut is on Koopa Troopa Beach. Start charging a jump and aim for the boxes. By using a mushroom in combination with a jump, you can skip the entire grass section. On Mario Bros. Circuit, when you're approaching the finish line, trick off the edge of the road to take the path to the right. This will lead to a couple of jumps, including one that will activate your glider. Glide to the left to land on this higher portion with a jump. Then aim to the left again to land on this lower pipe. If you have a mushroom, you can blast through these tires to land on another hidden grind rail. This cuts the corner nicely and gives you a speed boost. On Faraway Oasis, try and land on the rope after you go off the big jump. Then trick to the left. Trick off the jump to land on the railing and then wall ride on the billboard. Trick to the right at the end of the railing to get onto another wooden railing. Wait till you're almost all the way around the right corner to trick off of it and land on the higher portion of the track. Then you can drift and go off one more jump for that extra boost. On Salty Salty Speedway, start charging a jump as you're approaching this walled section. You want to get to red sparks before jumping on the wall to the right. Hold completely right to get up to the rail and then jump to the left onto this purple rail. Then you can jump to the left again and use a mushroom off this ramp for a bunch of opportunities to trick off of things. After drifting around this corner, trick onto the right wall to get onto this rail, then jump to the right for a crazy wall ride. This leads to a rooftop path with a glider ramp at the end of it. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, hit the like button. On DK Pass, as you come out of the tunnel, drift around the corners and then start charging a jump. Release it at the edge of the road to bounce off the pole and skip the bend in the track. It's definitely a fun one. On Peach Stadium, right from the beginning you can start charging a jump. Aim for the pipe on the right and then trick to the right to get back onto the track. Drift on the boost pads as you go up the hill, and stay far to the left side as you approach the jump. You want to land on the small portion of the roof with a grind rail. After going through the ring, go off of the right side of the jump. This will lead you to a ramp attached to the central tower. As you fall, use tricks to line yourself up with the inside grind rail. You can trick off the end of it, and if you have a mushroom, you can even boost through the grass to get to another inside grind rail. On Cheap Cheap Falls, trick down the waterfalls and stay to the left side. Trick off of the rock to the left to reach a hidden grind rail. This will lead to a jump, and if you have a mushroom, you can skip this grass section as well. Just be prepared to drift right. Next we have Wario's Shipyard. As you approach the cannon, aim for the left side. Trick off the end and land on the wooden plank. At the end of it, jump to the right to land on the second plank. Then simply drift around the corner and use this tiny jump to reach the finish line. I do have one bonus shortcut for you guys on this course. As you come around this bend, start charging a jump. Get onto the pipe and trick to the left to bounce off this palm tree and cut the corner. It's definitely an easy one to miss. On Shy Guy Bazaar, you can use your starting boost to trick off the sand and get to this grind rail. By tricking at the beginning of the bend, you can land on these ropes. This will lead you to a higher portion of the track where you can drift around the bends and trick off of the jumps at the end. The whole thing's a lot easier to do on laps 2 and 3 when you can use the stairs to get to the first rail. Alternatively, you can go through the main entrance and start charging a jump. Jump onto the pink pipe on the left. At the end of it, jump to the left to wall ride. Jump right to land on the rope, do a neutral trick, then jump left to wall ride once again. You'll definitely need to spend some time in either free roam or time trials to learn this one. But it does skip an entire 180-degree turn in the road, so I think it's worth learning. When you get to the turn with the cows in Moo Moo Meadows, start charging a jump. Aim for the right edge of the big tree. Use a mushroom along with your jump to bounce off of the tree and trick to the left to skip a massive part of the track. Then drift left and use a mushroom through this grass to go off of a ramp. There's actually a trick for lining up the jump if you're having trouble with it. Use the tire tracks in the mud to get the perfect position for the jump. And as long as you bounce off the right side of the tree instead of the left, Lakitu won't bother you. The next one is on Peach Beach. As you come around the corner of the castle, stay on the left side. You can trick off the end of the ramp into a wall ride. Then repeat the process on the next bit of roof. After landing, head down to the lower path. There's a wall of boxes that you can break through with a mushroom. Trick off at the right edge of the stairs to wall ride and get up to the rail. By doing this, you can completely skip the slow flying section and trick off of each bit of the roof. Once you get to the end, aim slightly left so that you can land on the chain that's below. This will give you a few more opportunities to pull off some tricks and gain speed before the water. On Boost Cinema, as you come around the corner, start charging a jump. Jump to the right to get on the grind rail and trick off the end. Drift to the left, and as you approach the movie screen, keep to the left side. You may need to do a few tricks in the air to align yourself with the guardrail. Then when you get to the end, you can trick off of it and drift directly into the boost pads. For Toad's Factory, you can charge a jump on the conveyor belt and jump to the right to get on the pipe. Trick off the end, and if you want, you can bounce off the support beam. Soon after, you can start charging another jump to get on the red pole. Trick off of it and aim for the center of the entrance. By tricking to the right on the light pole, you can gain lots of speed going into the tunnel. On Wario Stadium, drift as you go around the corner. Trick off the large jump to the left, and then trick off the small jump to wall ride. Trick to the right a bunch of times to round the corner and gain a ton of speed. Then you can go off the big ramp. This is another one of those shortcuts where there is a rail with coins at the top, but unless you're specifically trying to collect them, it's faster to just do tricks all along the wall ride as long as you can manage not to fall off. After the flying section of Dry Bones Burnout, trick to the left to start a wall ride and land on the rail. Trick to the right, and then you can follow the upper path and drift around the corner. As you approach the jump at the end of the path, aim for the right side. Start a wall ride and jump off immediately. At the end of the rock, trick to the left and use a mushroom to skip the lava. There is one more small shortcut you can do at the beginning of the level. Start charging a jump, and right before you hit the lava, jump to the right to wall ride, then jump back to the track. This will let you pass over the fiery bend safe and sound. After the flying section of Acorn Heights, do some tricks off of these leaves and aim for the left. Drive onto the base of this vine and then trick to the right when you get to the next vine. You'll want to trick off of it and immediately start drifting to the left. Use a mushroom to fly past these boxes. Do some tricks off these roots and get onto the closest vine. As soon as you get to the first coin, trick off to the left. Once you start the bend, trick to the next one. Then immediately spam tricks to the right to avoid the grass and cross the finish line. Alternatively, if you don't have a mushroom, you can ride the vines to the right. Trick to the right at the end of each vine to get to the next one. On the last vine, trick to the right onto the leaf and then trick off the leaf to start a wall ride. Jump off at the end of the wall to reach the roof leaf, and then you can finish the lap the same as the previous route. I love how well thought out this course is, with all the different routes you can take and hidden paths that you can mix and match. Next up, we have Sky High Sundae. After coming off the top of the hill, you can go down the yellow middle path. Use a mushroom to break through the boxes and trick off a hidden jump. Stay to the left as you go up the next hill and then trick off of it. Trick off the edge of the road onto the ice cream cones, and then trick to the left a couple of times to build up some speed. The wall ride will let you round the corner much faster, and this leads straight to the finish line. From the start of Dandelion Depths, drift around the corner and then trick onto the left rail. You want to trick off of it before you get to the end so that you can start drifting left. Do a trick off the next bump and then aim for the right side. Trick off of it onto the wall to start a wall ride. As soon as you get to the red section of the wall, jump off to the left. This leads to a higher portion of the road with some boost pads and coins. Plus, you can avoid a few bends. Next, we have Starview Peak. When you get to the water, drift to the right through the rings. As soon as you let go of your drift, you can start charging up a jump. Use your mushroom to boost through the snow and let go of your jump right at the edge. Land on the railing and trick off to the left. You can even jump on the second railing and trick on it if you want to. I also experimented with using a mushroom and a jump at the start of the level to bounce off the pole and cut the corner, but I doubt this saves any time over tight drifting. On DK Spaceport, stay to the center of the track and go off both the jumps. Then do a very tight drift to the left to trick around this giant Lego block. This will save you a bit of time, as well as a little later on, when you can trick off the high path early and get on the rail. For Bowser's Castle, trick off the first few ledges and choose the path to the right. Drift around the corners to build up speed and then start charging a jump. At the edge of the wall, jump to the left and then spam tricks to the left to land on the lower track. This one is actually quite difficult to do, and I think the only reason Lakitu doesn't pick you up is because there's actually an intended shortcut here with a mushroom and a wall ride, so that's an option as well. Alternatively, you can stay to the left as you go off the ledges and get on the chain. Do some tricks on it and drift around the corners. Get on the center rail and trick over to the left one. Trick off of it and then again past the cones to start a wall ride. Jump off of it to the left and do some tricks to skip the corner. It's only a little bit easier than the first route, so pick your poison. On Choco Mountain, go off the jump and drift hard to the left. You want to go off the left edge of the jump directly onto the wall. When you get close to the platform, jump to the right and then trick off of it. Use a mushroom to boost through the mud and drift to the left to get back onto the track. Hold left on Airship Fortress and trick onto the railing. Trick on it repeatedly during the straight section. When you're almost all the way around the bend, trick off to the right. Trick off the chain and land on the red pipe. Then trick off as soon as you're pointed towards the tunnel. This is another one that's quite difficult to perform without a lightweight character and a high acceleration bike or cart. I'd recommend practicing with either Nabbit or Toadette on the Mock Rocket, but it's such a powerful shortcut if you can actually pull it off. That's the best shortcut on every single level in Mario Kart World. If you think I was wrong about any of these, make sure to argue with me in the comments to boost this video's engagement. And subscribe so you don't miss out on my other game tutorials and video essays. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.